Our first speaker tonight is joining us via Skype from Billings. Her name is Mary Fitzpatrick. Mary served on the Northern Plains Resource Council's Clean Energy Task Force since 2006. She was on Governor Schweitzer's Climate Change Advisory Council in 2006-2007. She's a participant in Eco Angela, a Billings group promoting study and implementation of Pope Francis's encyclical on care for our common home, and is a member of Billings Citizens Climate Lobby. She retired from her private counseling practice in 2014. She will be one of the two panelists for our first section tonight. Please give a warm welcome for Mary Fitzpatrick.
Thank you, and thank you all for hitching up your renewable energy dog sleds and coming on out tonight. I know it's a pretty bad night there. And hello to Janet, sitting right there in the middle in the second row. So we are here to talk about our property assessed clean energy, which I will call PACE from now on. And it's a project, it's actually our legislative initiative for our Clean Energy Task Force. Northern Plains has started as to protect family farms and ranches from the ravages of coal mining, and has always maintained that commitment to family farms and ranches and to protecting the air and water, but it's also expanded to address other threats that are both urban and rural. And so the Clean Energy Task Force was established 11 years ago, both to, because we realized that digging holes in the ground was a threat to our air and water, but also because we knew we needed to advance clean energy. And so PACE is our current initiative. This is something that has to get through the legislature if Montana is going to have it. So we are working right now on getting our slides up for you. What has to happen here? It's down there. There we go. Okay, property assessed clean energy is what we're talking about, and here's a question I think everybody can answer pretty quickly. You see, this is a business owner, and of course, most of us live somewhere and we pay utilities in our homes or apartments. And so we all would like to save money on our utilities, and that's what PACE is all about. So, high utility bills, higher than they need to be. We know that energy efficiency is the least cost energy. It's cleaner, cheaper, and faster than any other form of energy. Don't use it, don't need it. And by the way, there should be, because this is our legislative initiative, we organized in order to influence decision makers, and so the decision makers right now are the legislature. So right there in the room with you, there should be a petition being passed around, and we'd like you to consider signing that to push our legislators to actually pass our legislation to enable PACE. So I'll talk about a little more about what has to happen for us to get PACE. A lot of people would like to have more efficient homes. They would like to have better insulation, better heating and cooling equipment. Maybe would like to put a windmill or solar panels on their property. And it's not just homes, it can be businesses, farms and ranches. But the upfront costs prevent that. There are other reasons why, but mainly it's the cost, and even a down payment on a loan. It's just hard to get even financing. And so the solution is PACE because it provides readily accessible private financing. This is not public money. It can be used for energy efficiency retrofits as well as clean energy production on existing buildings. And these could be businesses, they could be anything but a government building, any building, any property on which taxes are paid. So they can be used for energy efficiency, that could be lighting, heating, cooling, can be used for water conservation, and it can be used if someone wants to put solar panels or a windmill or geothermal kind of energy production. It's strictly voluntary for any property owner. No one is ever required to do this. Since it's a property assessment, it's paid when you pay your property taxes. It can be a long-term loan for up to 20 years, and then the taxing authority will collect the money and distribute it to the lender. So here's a list of some of the eligible kinds of things. I've already mentioned them. Anything that stays with the building, really, that you can't pick up and move if you leave, can be can be financed through PACE. It can be for residential, commercial, industrial, and a nonprofit, agricultural buildings. State or local buildings can't be part of it simply because they're not taxed, and so they're not PACE eligible. The PACE allows a property owner to save money on utilities, which can be passed on to tenants in the case of an apartment or a commercial building. It certainly creates local jobs and grows businesses that are involved in insulation and in renewable energy installation, heating and cooling, all of the other businesses that the contractors who would have to do the actual work of installation. And of course, when we spend money on our local businesses, that money keeps circulating in the community in the form of wages, in the form of the supplies that the business buys in the community. And so it's just a big boost to the community's economy. So all of these are some of the benefits of PACE. Do we have another slide? Here we are. PACE is already implemented and up and running in a number of states. You'd expect all those red dots in California. What's surprising is to see them in Florida, but hooray. All the red pins are where PACE is actually active with funded projects. And there are other states with the yellow pins that have enabled PACE, but it's still, the projects aren't underway yet. There are other states where it's in development, and there are others yet where the legislatures have enabled PACE, but it hasn't yet been implemented on the local level. So this is private money, as I mentioned. Any bank can participate, credit union. It works as a lien on the property, and because it's a property lien, the borrower doesn't have to go through a credit check. They just have to be current on their taxes. And the assessment, should the property be sold, stays with the property in most cases. And PACE programs can also work with mortgage lenders who want to cooperate with it. So we're all used to property assessments, new sidewalks, new water and sewer service, things like that. A particular part of town or the county is going to have an extra assessment placed on the property taxes, and we're used to that. And often they are as long as 20 years. So that would be another line for the treasurer to put on the tax bill that would account for the PACE loan. It's strictly voluntary on the part of the property owner. No one would ever be required to do this, which is not the case with some of the other special improvement districts. So what do we need to do? As I mentioned, we have to get the enabling legislation through the legislature. That's what we're going to be working on. After that, the taxing authority, the local taxing authority, which is either the county or a city, would have to decide to participate. Again, they don't have to. Private capital providers would decide to participate, and then contractors would have to be qualified in some way in order to do this. A particular project would also have to be evaluated. Part of the enabling legislation at the legislature would create the authority for this an agency of some sort. It could be run by the state government, it could be a nonprofit, it could be a business that evaluates projects to make sure that the energy savings will be enough to pay back the loan within 20 years, so that the total cost to the borrower don't go up and may even go down immediately. as long as, so the project can qualify if it will save enough to be paid back in 20 years or less. These are some of our supporters. In the fine print at the top, you'll see that the governor's office, Governor Steve Bullock, is a big supporter of this and in fact is sponsoring the legislation and taking the lead on getting it introduced into the legislature. We have some businesses, we have the Park County Senior Center and other, lots of contractors who are supporting this and would want to participate. There's at least a couple of lenders in there. So, and a lot of, we've been working with labor unions and with the treasurers and county commissioners, and a lot of pieces have to come together. So we're really glad to have all this support. You can also see our website on there, mtpace.com. We encourage you to go there and learn a little more about this, and you can sign up to be a supporter if you like, either your business or you as an individual. Northern Plains is having our Clean Energy Lobby Day next Thursday, February 16th. If you'd like to participate with that, we have training for lobbying if you've never done that. And you can sign up at www.northernplains.org. And you can join us there. You can also follow the legislation through the session and send in support for it and when it's in committee and on the floor. So I know that Abby and Amy are there. They'll be able to answer some of the questions later. You can get perhaps some questions answered on the website, and you can certainly contact Northern Plains if you have other questions. So we really would appreciate your support, and I'm just thrilled to see so many people came out on such a horrible night, and it just shows me that you really care about clean energy and renewable energies in Montana. So thanks a lot.